All right, well, we're live, baby.
We are live.
What's up, Steve?
How's it going, sir?
I'm well, man. How you doing?
Doing good. Doing good. We're just hanging out in the shift, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my good friend and colleague, Mr. Steve Malone. How you doing, buddy?
We're doing good. We're doing good. No, it's real estate's crazy every day. We love the challenges of every day being a little different. It's never the same thing twice. So it's all about what can we do today? What are we going
That's
to do
right.
tomorrow?
That's right. Well, Steve and I have our a lot of our friends are in Las Vegas right now at EXP at the convention. Steve and I didn't go
Somebody
this
had to
year.
stay back here. Somebody had to stay back here and sell some houses. So we
That's
told them,
right.
go
Yeah,
have fun. We'll handle everything.
yeah. I was on vacation in Orlando and just got back, so I couldn't do both.
Yeah, and I'm knee deep in new kids and everything. I'm coming out of the fog now, so maybe next year we start playing at some of these national events and stuff. So
That's right, buddy. Well, we got so just so everybody knows, we're Steve and I have been, we've known each other for a while, colleagues for a while. We're both at EXP Realty, and we're going to talk about a little bit of how business is going for us, and also the market. We're going to talk about some really exciting news on the brokerage front that some people may know and some people may not, and this may be the first time you hear it. So you heard it live right here.
I heard it for the first time this morning when you said something about it. So yeah, this is pretty new. We'll talk about it.
That's right. So, all right, Steve, let's talk about business this year. Obviously we're in a shift.
Yes.
And a lot of folks that haven't been in the business for more than about 11 years, 10 or 11 years, they have never seen this before.
Right.
And so it's a little scary, but you just got to know how to manage it. In spite of the shift, how's your business going right now?
It's going good. I mean, thankfully, we had a lot of stuff going earlier this year. Obviously, once the rates hit 6 mid-June, and when everybody saw it, everything kind of just ground to a halt. So it's just been trying to figure out, all right, for our sellers, how do we get our houses sold? It's a brand new playbook that we've had to bust out to say this is how we do it. And for our buyers too, it's about, everybody's nervous about the rates. They're wishing they had bought when the rates were in the upper 5s, low 6s.
Yep.
Because now we're in the upper 6s, low 7s, and we could go higher than that from now. So it's just about trying to, we're learning on the fly with everybody else, but I think that the agents, and thankfully we're surrounded, you and I were in in our modern agent movement here in North Georgia. We're surrounded by ball players and really good teams, really good agents that we're helping each other. We're sharing secrets, we're sharing stuff to really help our people out, So that's right. I think that's going to be our edge going forward.
Well, collaboration is key. We are connected with some of the biggest hitters in the nation. And there's a lot of other brokerages out there that have big hitters, but one of the things that we like about our brokerages, we have a mastermind every week, and we're connected, at the hip to some folks. I'm seeing the same thing. I was here when the market shifted big time in 08, in 09 and 10 and 11. 09 and 10 was a wasteland. It was 50% foreclosures. Houses were selling for $80,000, $90,000, $100,000. It was terrible. But we still sold homes, and we still did it. There's still always going to be buyers and sellers. You just have to find the motivated, so to speak.
Right.
But our business is we're still humming right along. We're down a little bit, but not. It's not terrible. We still have November, December, and January in our sights.
Right.
But I think those that follow a schedule and are aligned with, people that have been here and total collaboration, I think are going to prevail. Don't you?
That's what I think. And for me, it's you've got to surround yourself with those people. This isn't a solo game. Even if you're a solo agent, like I'm a solo agent, I have a couple of people working for me behind the scenes. We use showing assistants, things like that. But as far as having a full-time second agent, I don't. And so it's like I'm theoretically a solo agent, and before I came over, it kind of gets lonely because there's nobody to commiserate with. There's nobody to share war stories with, say, hey, this stinks for me. What have you done? You know what I mean? Yeah. As soon as I came over, like Mike, if I needed something when I came over, I would call you and say, what do you do for this and that? And man, you would role play with me about it if I needed to. You'd send me, the listing presentation if you needed to, or whatever. Same thing with Stacy, same thing with anybody because we're all together. It's like you said, it's a collaboration over competition. It was just a completely different approach to real estate that at the old place, it wasn't like that. I mean, they give you a little bit of help, but most of the stuff if you really want to help with, you had to pay to be in a class or pay to be in a mastermind or pay to be something. And it's like, and here it's just like, it's the way that the company's built, everybody looks out.
It's a much different, excuse me, much different scenario over here. Just we're all owners of the company. So there's, we're all connected financially, and there's everybody has a financial incentive to help the other person. And so
right. Exactly.
Not the case in other brokerages. There's no financial, connection there, exactly. Unless you're the owner of the company. But one of the things we want to talk about today was the big news that you found out today when I told you.
Yeah.
A very big Keller Williams agent just moved his team over to EXP, and that's Mr. Tristan Ahumada, who is the brains and the founder of Lab Coat Agents, which
huge
155,000 followers on there. And he's got almost 46,000 followers on Instagram. The guy's a machine. And one of the reasons that I really like him, and I followed him for years and have been a part of Lab Coat Agents for years, is he is always coming from contribution. He gives and gives and gives and gives.
Right.
And that's why he's so successful. And I think that's one of the reasons why he came over to our brokerage, because of the not just the financial piece, which we'll talk about in a minute, but he's already, our brokerage is all about giving and asking for really nothing in return. And Tristan's been doing that for a long time. What are your thoughts about someone of that magnitude coming over?
Well, I mean, for all of us, and I think you were like this too, you see somebody go over, you see this person, that person, small person, all of a sudden you see a big fish go over and you're like, wait a minute, what? And like for me, I saw, and they were big producers, but not Tristan sized. Tristan's one of the biggest dominoes we've seen fall, so to speak, in a really long time for EXP, because he has such a big, speaker, so to speak. He has such big reach with, like you said, all the work that he's done. It fits right in with EXP. That's the way that we're built. So everything that he's done, but I think that a lot of people, and he was probably one of them, first time you see the EXP model, you're like, whatever, I don't want to hear about it. Yeah. You don't hear it right. But when you hear it, that's something that everybody always says, like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like, the model makes sense. Like, as soon as you get the idea, you can't turn it off. And for him, I think with his platform that he has, with as much help and as much people as follow him, he's going to have a huge impact on our company to bring more of those agents in, because they're going to see, for whatever reason it is, at the end of the day, and I were talking about this before I came on, John Glutch, who's in our Fast Forward movement, he's out in San Diego. He has teams in San Diego, Arizona, Las Vegas. And he always says that if you come to EXP, some people say, come for the rev share, come for the stocks. At the end of the day, if you want to make a jump to a brokerage, what brokerage are you going to go to that's going to grow your business? What brokerage are you going to go to that's going to help you be better next year than you are this year? What brokerage and for Tristan saw the light and he said, this is where we're going. This is where real estate's going. This is where technology is going. This is where it's all going. That's where I'm going. And I think a lot of people are going to see that, and a lot of people are going to, make that jump behind him.
Well, I want to add to what you just said, and I want to make this, I don't know how many people will watch this. I've heard hundreds. I've heard 5. I've heard, over time, a lot of people see
millions and millions.
Millions of people will see this. It is not about the stock and the revenue share here. I am a top agent in the Atlanta area. I had a top team at Keller Williams. I moved a top team to EXP. It was not for the revenue share of the stock. It was for the collaboration to build a production to do more production. That was it. The stock and the revenue share are phenomenal additions to the to pieces to the puzzle. It's great. I love it. I participate in both. It's been phenomenal and it's growing. But that's not why I came. That's not why you came. And that's not why most people come. And that's definitely not why Tristan came.
Right.
Because the collaboration piece, when you can help other people grow their business and you are, here we're compensated for it, right? But we did it. You and I have both. I've done it at another brokerage. I didn't get paid. I just did it out of the goodness of my heart. And I still do it out of the goodness of my heart because I believe that when you give, you receive.
Right.
And so just be real clear with everybody out there. The stock and revenue share is a wonderful part of this company, but it is not the meat and potatoes behind it. It is the production, the collaboration, the sharing environment. Now the stock and the stock and the revenue share glue us all together. So when you're all owners, you all sweep the floor. You all take the trash out. You all stay late. You all help your employees.
Right.
That's it. So it's mainly about the collaboration. And you mentioned John Glutch. I could go on for days. Kyle Whistle, Jay Kinder, Dan Beer, Veronica Figueroa. I mean, I could just go down the list of people that are there that share with us and participate in masterminds with us every single week and basically give us the answers to the test. Like, I'm not sweating this market because I'm aligned with people, 700 people on Mondays,
right?
That are telling me what they're doing to overcome, all these obstacles, so to speak.
Yeah, I tell that, if I'm doing any kind of, like, if I'm planning for the week or whatever, Monday from 1 to 2, like, outside of like a giant earthquake or giant tornado or whatever, I'm on that mastermind because
that's right.
You can demonstrate if you sit on that mastermind. That's a fast forward mastermind, like you said, 700 people on there, and the stuff that gets shared on there is nuts. As far as like the nuts and bolts that they share, you have somebody jump on and say, "Oh, we built this thing. We had somebody, build the art for it and whatever, and it took however long. And here, I'll share it on the chat."
Mm-hmm.
Or, we created this whole video series and it took us forever. Here, here's a link to it. Copy and share, or copy and redevelop.
That's right.
R&D. So, I mean, the fact that you get that every week from, total ball players, like serious ball players. I mean,
some of the biggest hitters in the industry. I got on our Facebook group and was asking about a website earlier. Mm-hmm. Kyle Whistle was like the first one to reply. This guy is at EXPCon selling almost $600 million in production,
right?
Which is unbelievable,
right?
And he just like got right back to me in 5 minutes. Hey man, here's what I'm using. Here's what I'm doing. Let's get offline and I'll tell you what. I'll show you all about it. Boom. Yeah. Problem solved. Next question.
Well, like you said, so Dan Beer has a video, and maybe somebody can, if you're interested in it, you can YouTube it. It's Dan Beer. He's talking about the difference between RE/MAX, KW, EXP, and you can name any Coldwell Banker, you can name whatever. They're all great brokerages, and don't get me wrong, they're all great brokerages. They all do really good work. What's the difference between EXP and the rest of them is the way that the model is at EXP is they've created a way to where, like you said, we all sweep the floors. We all, stay late and clean up. If I get somebody who's one of my people that I brought in, if they call at the end of the day and it's crazy and like I'm knee deep in whatever, and they call, I will pick up the phone because that's my person. I brought them in. They have a question. I have to help them out. Like if it's another agent or if it's like somebody, I don't have to answer the phone, but we have that feeling of, what, because we're at EXP, we all own this baby.
Right.
I mean, there's no like levels of management and regions and whatever and overhead and blah. Like we own this baby,
There's no OP. There's no team leader. There's no. And everybody, I've heard so many people. Well, I need an office. Do you really?
Right.
Do you really need an office for what? It's great to have. I bought an office. So I have my own office.
Right.
But like we're in a cloud. There's no, there's no overhead of having 883 market centers.
Right.
There's a lot of overhead, and Remax has, I don't know how many thousands of, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of offices all over, and I'm using Compass. It's a tremendous amount of overhead, which right now you'll see a lot of these big companies are slicing and dicing employees, and
Right.
EXP's bringing more people on there. Now, I also want to be real clear to anybody out there that I'm friends with that knows me. The last brokerage I was at, I loved it. It was the best things ever. And I wasn't planning on leaving. It took me 9 months from when I was first introduced to this DXP. It took me 9 months to move. It took me about 7 months to even look at it. I was like, no way.
Right.
I wouldn't even look at it.
Right.
And when I finally took a look at it, I was like, wow, this kind of makes sense. There's a lot of things that are, in my mind, a plus. And, by the way, I can collaborate with people that are doing, literally 10 to 12, 15 times more business than I am. And we're a $50 million team, and we were 30. I mean, to go up almost 20 mil in 2 years, that's incredible. That's a lot, but that's all about the collaboration.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So where do you see, what do you see happening in the local Atlanta real estate market in the next 6 to 8 months?
So, like in the market itself, I mean,
yeah.
So to me, I mean, the reality is the buyers are on the sidelines right now, for the most part. A lot of buyers have gotten out of the market. If it's priced right, if it looks the part, it's going to sell.
Yeah.
But it has to be priced right. It has to look the part. There's no margin anymore.
Right.
Like I did in a video the other day, I said, all you had to do was think the word sell. All you had to do was think the word sell back in March. You had 60 offers in your mailbox, right? Like it's not the case anymore. But that being said, I think when we get to springish, a lot of those buyers are going to say, we got to get back in because we wanted a house.
Yeah.
All these buyers wanted a house. That didn't change. They just didn't want to buy a house because they couldn't stomach the rates. I think that once they get back into spring, I think that they're going to come back because I think the rates are going to we're going to get over inflation mountain. I think the rates are going to start coming back down. I don't think they're going to come down crazy. I don't think we're never going to see, I don't want to say never, but threes, that's going to be a long, 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 long time. And fours maybe a while too.
The rate is going to be the rate, and that's what it's going to be. And, if you didn't get in at 3%, where it was for 5 years or 6 years, you missed it. It's over. And now it may come back. Who knows when, but it will come back. What's the saying right now? Marry the house, date the rate.
There you go.
I mean, if you still need to buy a home, buy a home. You can do some buy downs on the rate, but just get a home and don't miss out on the equity over the next 3 to 5 years.
Right.
And unless you have a home that you're in with a low rate, stay there.
Right.
But if you want to move, and I also say this to agents, there's a lot of agents, we've been talking a lot about what's going to happen over the next 6 to 8 months as the business starts to slide. And a lot of agents have only been in business for 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Right.
First of all, if you're not aligned with the right people, it's going to be tough.
Yes.
Second of all, I'm telling every agent out there, whoever sees this, if you see this tomorrow, which will be October the 14th, today's October 13th. If you see it in December of 22, if you see it in March of 23, listen to this. Do not throw in the towel and leave the business because it's changed and it's gotten harder.
Right.
Go out and be proactive and go interview 10 brokerages and go find out what they offer. Do not just give up and go find a job. Don't do that.
Right.
Stick it out. Start reaching out to your colleagues. Call me, call Steve, call somebody, your Keller Williams friend, your Compass friend, whoever, I don't care. But don't throw in the towel. Be proactive and go out and find out which brokerage is going to give you, and I'm not talking about the best split which we have a great split. I'm not talking about the best split in fees. Which one's going to help you grow your business?
Right. Because
how are they going to do that?
Because the reality is, there are plenty of brokerages, and I won't say them, but they have better splits. They have lower caps. They have lower monthly fees. If that makes sense, it makes sense. To me, it didn't make sense because that didn't get you access, that didn't get you proximity, that didn't get you in all the right rooms, that didn't get you the learning. The reality is, if you do 1 or 2 more deals, it's not even an issue. And you want to be in the right rooms with the right people to where you're going to do not 1 or 2 more deals. You want to double your production. You want to build a team. Like for me, for example, I've got a virtual / part-time assistant that's helping me out right now. I would have never looked at that building piece without hearing it from all the people that we hear in the national. We just purchased our first Airbnb up in North Georgia, which was always a dream. But until we sat down on one of the masterminds where we talked about this is the nuts and bolts of how to do it and make it happen. And my wife sat in on it too, and she's like, "Let's do this." So we have it. We would have never done that if it wasn't for one of those masterminds. So there's all these things that I'm doing as a business now. I'm treating it more like a business now because of this mastermind. And that's going to be the fruit that goes forward. So yeah, I could have gone somewhere and gone cheaper, and I would never be where I am right now. So just be careful that that's not what you're looking at. It's the same thing whether you go into somebody's house on a listing presentation. There's always going to be somebody who's going to do it for like $100.
Whatever, yeah.
I'll sell your house for $100. I mean, there'll always be that person. You can kick their butt. Let me show you why you shouldn't do the $100 person. You got to bring value. So think about it like that.
Well, there's the abundance mindset and the scarcity mindset. And right now there's a lot of scarcity, right?
Right.
Because everything's kind of doing like this. And it's going to keep doing this, folks. This isn't going to just stop in December. I mean, it's going to be like this for a while. And, talking about splits and caps, EXP's got a $16,000 cap. Is that less than some? Yes. Is it more than others? Yes. There's some out there that are $6,000. But what do you get for that $6,000? Is saving that $10,000 more important to you than being aligned with professionals that can help you make $50,000,
right,
or $30,000, or whatever it is,
right?
And proximity and alignment is key. And I'll tell everybody this, and don't be like me, and let your ego get in the way. And I'm doing great, and I don't need this, and I'm sure it's not what it's supposed to be. Don't just go look at EXP. Go look at 6 other brokerages. Go do some homework. Go meet with the staff. Go meet the top agents in there and find out, where's my home going to be? But don't give up real estate. Don't stop. It's going to be all right, but it's going to be a little more work for the next year at least.
Well, the thing is, it's the same thing when we're going into the pandemic. We're going into the pandemic. Everybody was worried that, everything was going to crash. Everything, in that March, April timeframe, nobody knew what was going to happen. If you remember, we were all in the dark. Nobody knew. And I just remember one of the coaches that I watch on YouTube that they're with the XP, and they basically said, look, be the agent that calls people in the pandemic. Be the agent that so they remember that. So now the real estate's gone wonky. The rates are crazy. Everybody's panicking, whatever. Be the agent that calls people. Some agents are going to get out. Be the agent that's on the phone with people saying, I'm here to help out. How can I help? You know what I mean? Because
all your database.
In March, it's going to be a completely different layout. Yeah. And you want to be the person that for the previous several months was banging the phones, being there for your people.
That's right.
You're going to put yourself in the perfect position.
Well, if you're a real estate professional in anywhere, Atlanta, it doesn't have to be Atlanta, nationwide,
right,
and you want to participate in our weekly mastermind with no obligation, and it's totally confidential. Nobody's going to call you out and go, hey, I see you're with Remax. I see you're with Keller Williams. Send me a message or send Steve a message, and we'll get you in. Okay, you can't get on a bunch of them because they'll let us share, but you got to be with us. You got to be in our company to be on it permanently.
It just depends if you want the person you talk to. Do you want them to be completely shaved like you, or a little bit of fuzz on top like me? Like however you prefer.
Total preference, yeah, personal preference.
There you go.
You want the pit bull or you want the razor? Which one you want?
There you go.
but take a minute. Don't fret. Go to your current broker, wherever you are, and find the biggest, baddest realtor in there and the biggest team, the owners of the market center, and tell them you need their help and you want them to pour into you and show them all your systems. I mean, show you all their systems and processes so you can do what they're doing.
Right.
And if they do that, that's great. In the meantime, if you want to be on a mastermind, it's called our Fast Forward Movement Masterminds every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Let us know. For those of you that know me, send me a text, send me a direct message, send Steve a direct message. We'll get you on there. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's probably the number one thing I could point to that helped me grow my business so much last year. We grew almost 35% in 1 year. It was phenomenal. And when the market was great and all that too, but we're growing this year. So, Steve, you got anything you want to add to all the lovely people out there?
No, I mean, to me, I mean, it's a very exciting time to be in real estate. It's scary, and I kind of like that. And Kyle Whissel says this, and again, he's one of the two founders of Fast Forward Movement that we're in. He says things are changing, and you got to love change. You have to run to change. You know, a lot of people don't. They get scared of it. You have to run to it. You have to embrace it, because the early adopters and the embracers, those are the ones that they thrive, you know, and those are the ones that people run to and they gravitate towards. So
there's a lot. Don't run. Don't quit. Don't stop. Don't give up.
Right.
There are a lot of folks. If you can't find them where you are, seek out others. There are people out there that will help you. There are people out there that are giving all their information. And like I said, the Fast Forward Movement is on every Monday at 1 o'clock. We have a mastermind. If you got anybody who wants to be on it, let me know. I bring people in there all the time, and everybody, Mike says, Mike, I really appreciate it.
Yep.
It's been great. So with that said, Steve, my man, great seeing you, buddy.
Thank you, brother, man.
Yeah, man. Let's do it again soon. Everybody, Mike Price, Steve Malone, eXp Realty, Fast Forward Movement, Modern Agent, Honey Badgers, all these different groups we're in. It's awesome. Don't be afraid of the market. Go after and get it. Align with the best. Y'all have a great day.
There you go.